pet parents. This is Melody from Pet Fed India, your host for today. And as promised, we are back with another insightful live session for you all. Joining us today is Mr. Robin Singh, co founder of Peepal Farm, and he will be helping us today in understanding dog adoption 101. So, Robin, welcome to the live chat. It's great to have you with us. How are you today?
Good, good. Thanks for having me, Melody.
Most welcome. It's lovely and wonderful to have you. And of course, we're all looking forward to to learn a lot from you. So, for those of you who don't know him yet, Robin is an entrepreneur working to do good. He started working to help animals in February 2013, starting in Oroville, India, and then Delhi, and realizing that the nature of welfare projects in India is such that they can't be scaled by scaling the infrastructure, he changed the strategy from just doing to involving and inspiring. In December 2014, along with two other co founders, he started Peepal Farm, a place for animals to heal and be heard. And he's been building it, running it, and living there since. So there are a lot of things that come into the picture when it comes to adopting a pet. But keeping in mind that one adoption act can help save a life will make all of those things look smaller. Adopting a pet has a huge impact, not just on the life of the pet, but also on the family that is adopting them. So, here we are today to discuss in detail all about dog adoption, what to know beforehand, what are all to be prepared with, the trusted sources for the same, and much more. And all of you who are watching us, please feel free, of course, to drop in your queries in the comments section below, and we will surely answer them. And just, of course, like last time, we'll be running an interesting trivia contest during this live session. We will be asking the audience 3 questions throughout the session, and of course, 3 lucky winners who answer these questions correctly will walk away with gift hampers courtesy of Purina Pro Plan. So sit tight and stay tuned to this chat as the trivia questions will be announced in the middle of this entire 1-hour session for you to answer in the comments below. And of course, if you're joining us now, we are here to discuss the topic, Dog Adoption 101. So if you have any questions, once again, please drop them in the comments section below and we will definitely answer them for you. So let's get started. Robin, we would like to address a few commonly asked questions to help us understand more about dog adoption. So my very first question is, help us understand what Peepal Farm is all about. I know I've just given you a gist, but of course, let's hear it straight from the dog's mouth, as they say.
So People Farm is it's a place we built because we wanted animals to not only heal but also be heard. So we run an animal rescue and an awareness organization. So we help injured stray dogs, cows, horses, mules, basically any animals that people are not eating. We we can help them if they get injured. So we operate within an 8-kilometer radius. Now all the animals that pass through here, they have a story, right? Like, how did they get injured? What's going to become of them? How did they end up on the street in the first place? Were they born there? Were they an abandoned pet when that particular dog breed went out of fashion? So
Right.
we do a lot of stories, not only dogs, cows, also people passing through from a personal life. So we do those stories to help people connect, reconnect with the animals on an emotional level. I say reconnect because as children we are naturally inclined to feel curious towards animals, and we naturally, like, we love animals until and unless our parents are like, nahi bhai, shoo karo, yeah, whatever.
Right.
So that's what we do.
So short and sweet and simple, of course. So in your
I
opinion,
mean,
why is it important to adopt dogs or pets? Or, like you have a plethora of
see, I think if we have been given resources somewhere, we should extend that to those who don't have them.
right.
And stray dogs are a perfect example. I mean, dogs were bred to be with people. They were not meant to be dodging cars and living on streets and eating garbage. So adopting an animal gives them a home, gives them a life that they deserve. But it doesn't have to be completely selfless. You get a friend. And that's why adoption is very necessary, because like we see dogs as friends, and when we buy dogs, it's just so counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense. There's a line I say, it's in Hindi, कि भाई दोस्त बनाए जाते हैं, खरीदे नहीं. है ना? So
Absolutely right.
that's why I say कि, like you have to adopt. And here comes Chambi. Ah, bhai, shakal dikha de apni.
Yes,
This
let's.
is
Hello. Chumpy or
he's very
Chambi?
Chambi. So
Chambi.
when we started People Farm, shakal to dikha de bhai, tu teri naak ki
Yes,
nazar aa rahi
please.
hai.
Let's see a
Okay,
beautiful face.
camera
Oh,
shy. Chambi. So uh,
beautiful, beautiful.
he, we found him as a puppy when
Mm,
we moved here. We hadn't started the place. So he was our first rescue in Himachal. So he's just stayed with us.
wonderful. And how old is he right now?
7 years now.
Okay, 7 years. Great.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
So,
he
yeah.
came with a fractured leg. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible, but he's doing much better. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. So you can continue if you can give us a little bit more about why should we adopt animals. I mean, you just said because they were born to be with us, as our companions
Yeah.
most
So
often.
I
Yeah.
see I see it as like, like we must extend what we have been given. Whatever we have been given has been given to us, so we can pay it forward. But as parents, so when I grew up, my parents, like, they already had a dog, and that had a huge influence on me. I think kids who grow up around animals just turn out different. I mean, I want to say better, but that would sound a little like I don't know how that would sound. But like, kids who grow up around animals are generally, they have less anxiety. They're more compassionate in general, not just towards animals. So they've got a lot of therapeutic benefits. That's why you see all these now, pet therapy, dog therapy, these things are coming up. And like I said, that's in adopting makes sense, because buying just doesn't. Because when it's, on one hand you say you like dogs, when you are buying a dog, you are paying a breeder to abuse a dog. So that's why adopting is the way to have an animal in your home.
Perfect, perfect. I do agree. But yeah, I would also say when you said makes them compassionate people as they grow up, yeah, I wouldn't say better. I mean, they just, when you start living with animals itself, it just changes your entire outlook towards life because that's one of the things you learn compassion and being kind and, being a better human being in this world, which is just so nasty.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that better, being compassionate?
100%, 200%. Yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. So, quick trivia question for you. Who are the main inhabitants of animal shelters? Option one, dogs and cats. Option two, birds. As simple as that. Please comment in the comment section. Drop your answers right there. We're picking out three winners at the end of this session. So, Robin, what are the different things one should consider when, one has to plan to adopt a dog
See, the
or
first
any
and
animal
foremost,
for that matter?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at how available are you, how much time do you have. I usually tell people, start with a plant. Make sure you don't kill the plant. If you
Yeah.
haven't killed the plant in, in couple months, then consider getting an animal. So because any animal, they have needs. They're not just a piece of furniture. They need to be walked. You need to spend time with them. You need to interact with them. You have to make sure they're getting food, medical care. A lot of people,
True.
uh, unfortunately, a lot of people get animals, like they would get a dog because the kid really wants a dog and promises
Right.
that I will walk the dog. And, after a week, the dog is just tied on a small chain. So you
Correct.
got to consider who's going to be the primary responsible person for the dog. Shouldn't be a kid. And you have to think, uh, like, what kind of space do you live in? Are you living in a small apartment? Are you living in a farmhouse? Because if you say get a high energy dog, and you have a tiny apartment, that dog's going to be cooped up most of the day
Right.
and get frustrated. Then you're going to think like, the dog's getting aggressive. The dog's not aggressive. They're just like, bored out of their minds. So you got to consider your space. Then you have to consider, like, are there any uh, large events coming up in your life? Like, are you planning to get married? Are you planning to move? Are you expecting a baby?
Maybe,
Because
yeah.
those things are also going to change your life big time. because you get married, your wife doesn't like dogs. What are you going to do? You got to pick one, and
Yeah,
so uh, there's going to be that. And then there are things that happen regularly in life that we forget about, like vacations. When you're going on vacation, do you have friends who can look after your dog while you're gone?
yeah,
Are there pet boarding places? So these are four. Fifth, you gotta be, you gotta know, like in case of a medical situation, do you have a vet around you? So
correct. Yeah,
that is another thing, because a lot of times what happens is people don't have access to veterinary care, especially in, like, small places, not in big cities, of course. And then they end up giving human medicine to dogs,
correct.
which is messed up, because you're not going to take your dog's medicine, so it doesn't work the other way as well.
Correct. Yeah, some amazing points. In fact, that just reminded me of a really quick little story of a couple that I have friend, and they have four dogs, all adopted. And these days, a lot of them actually take along their pets while they travel in vacation, which is great. And this is exactly what they do. So if you do have that option, you have the bandwidth, I think people should start taking pets along because it makes it even more fun, your vacation and holidays, which is great. And now trains are also offering to take your pets along. So I think that's a great thing. What do you say, Robin?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like, chummy can be a handful even on a dog walk. But yeah, if you luck out and have a nicer dog, then absolutely take them on vacation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to repeat that trivia question once again, just quickly, Robin. So just give me a second. Who are the main inhabitants of animal shelters? Option one, dogs and cats. Option two, birds. In fact, we have a couple of questions that have just come in from the audience. We've got Muskan who says, is it okay to adopt an adult dog from a shelter? Will he or she be able to adapt to our lifestyle?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's a misconception that you have to have a dog from when they are a little puppy. Uh,
Right.
yeah, so it's more about the personality type. Like I said, you got to see, like, what kind of how old are they? Because like, how old are they? Does it matter? Their personality. You also have to consider, there is one thing I missed earlier. You also have to consider, if you already have a dog and you're getting another one, so you got to make sure that the dog is not just human friendly, but he's also friendly with other dogs.
Correct. Absolutely. Fantastic. Okay.
While we
So,
are on the topic of age,
sorry.
can I add one more quick thing?
Please
A
do.
lot of people think that they should get a dog when the dog's like 2 weeks or 30 days old, and that's very unfortunate. For your dog to have a happy, healthy life, they need strong immunity, and that's only going to happen when they have spent at least the first 2 months of their lives with their mother.
All right, Muskan, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. That came in from Muskan. You just mentioned, about how to adopt, but we've got Deepika who actually says, Deepika Bhatia, what is the process for adopting a dog? Do you want to add, out of the 5 points that you did mention, if you want to add anything on this, Robin?
Sorry, I think I lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, what is the process for adopting a dog? This comes in from Deepika. I know you just mentioned those 5 points, but is there a process? Especially, like, say, if I want to adopt
Yeah,
from your shelter, yes, is there a process that that we have to go through?
yeah, like every rescue would have their own process, but broadly it would be like, you would either see a dog online, or you'd visit and you'll be like, I'm interested in this dog. Then uh, they would interview you to make sure that the interview is more for you, that you understand what you are getting into. You're not going to bite more than you can chew. Once
Right.
you do the interview, then, like, again, depending on the rescue, they would take a little time and get back to you. Most places do not have an adoption fee. Like, we for sure don't. The thing is, we are located in a tiny village in Himachal Pradesh, so a lot of our dog adoptions happen in Delhi or Mumbai. So what we do is we ask people to cover half of the transportation cost. But if they
Correct.
come and pick the dog, there is absolutely no fee.
Correct. So that is the only probably expenditure that we have to shell out if you want to adopt a dog from your farm as such, or any other places which is far out.
Yeah, the transportation
Yeah,
cost. Yeah,
transportation. All right, fine. So
yeah.
many
And
people,
I
despite that,
tell people that I encourage them. Now, go ahead.
no, no, please continue. Please continue. No problem.
I encourage people to adopt from wherever animals are. There is a rescue shelter in every city, multiple.
Correct. So we can go ahead and adopt whichever suits us, which is closer to us. Yeah. So we do have. I know there are a lot of people who run shelters, so you can adopt. So I hope that answers your question. I think that came in from Deepthi. So many people, despite them being supportive of the adoption cause, are themselves not able to adopt a pet, but they do their bit by rescuing pets around them. I'm one of them. Yeah. So if one has a rescue animal, how should they go about getting them adopted? In fact, I think I'm going to combine that question with Prachi's question as well. She's just messaging saying she has a new litter of 3 pups, and 2 of them got adopted, and she's planning on adopting the third one. So, what all should I be prepared with? So pretty much it's the same. So we have rescued dogs. We want to adopt. Some of them have got adopted. So you can give us a combination of both of these questions.
See, your best bet is social media. So
Okay.
you got to make sure you have really good photographs, because there are a lot of animals up for adoption. And to give
Correct.
people a sense of the animal, like they haven't met them yet, the better your photographs are. If there's a video, that's even better. Then I see a lot of adoption posts which have which fail to mention like the dog's gender, dog's age, sometimes even location or phone number. So you got to make sure whatever you're posting has all the information, because you definitely don't want to miss out on anybody who's interested and is unable to reach out to you. So there are a lot
Correct.
of Facebook groups for adoption that you can post. You can try to recruit your friends and family on WhatsApp, and like ask people like, hey, do that. Sometimes in offline, like, what you can do as an offline effort is you can print flyers and just post them in pet supply shops. That's what we
Okay.
used to do.
Right. So these are the few suggestions that people can make use of. I do totally agree. Social media is number one. I most often do that because I get a lot of messages saying, "Please, can you find a foster home? Can someone adopt?" And as soon as you put it up on a story, especially on Instagram, of course, Facebook as well, you get fabulous response. So yes, of course. So that is one of the things you definitely need to do for. I forgot this person's name. So sorry, who sent in for the pups. I hope that, yeah, Prachi. So social media is the way to go. So do you have any suggestions for people who are sheltering stray dogs around them?
Suggestions to what, like for getting these animals adopted again, or something else?
You can give us both for adoption or say, like Prachi, if she wants to take care of stray dogs, any suggestions on how to go about them?
See, I'd say, of course, for most medical conditions, for a lot of medical conditions, you have to consult a vet. But if you are regularly rescuing animals, fostering animals, it wouldn't hurt for you to volunteer with an animal rescue and learn about the most common things that you can just handle at home. For example, like, just at least basic wound treatment. These kind of things, they do come in handy if you are rescuing animals. Then another thing is, there are a lot of people who are into animal rescue, but the community is very uh, it's fragmented. So it can lead to a sense of isolation. You can get very overwhelmed. So I'd say, like, try to be part of a group which does animal rescue. Like we started this thing. We created like these WhatsApp groups all over India in every district, and they are accessible from our website. So if you go to peoplefarm.org/HHA, you can just punch in like your district, and a WhatsApp group will come. Like Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, these groups are really active. So once you're part of a group, you're not alone. So for example, you're fostering a dog. Suddenly you have to leave. There's an emergency. If you're part of a group, there's somebody else who can shoulder the responsibility.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. You want to add more?
Now that's it.
Okay. Okay. We've got Ved Prakash Dhawan, and he says, my family is planning to adopt a dog, and we have been in touch with the shelter. They do live in a flat. So he wants to know how does he and his family find a suitable dog or a pet, especially when it comes to apartments, which is actually the biggest worry for most people who want to adopt dogs and pets. So how does he find a suitable
I
dog?
think I just need to know. I think I just need to know more about their situation. Like, yeah, they live in an apartment, but how much time are they spending outdoors? Are they are they okay adopting a senior dog? Because senior dogs are less responsibility. They don't want that much interaction. For the most part, they need like 2 square meals, and just a soft bed, a warm corner where they can be. And if they need your love, they can come and ask for pets. So they need very little. Senior dogs are great for apartments, I'd say. But then again, you got to visit the shelter, talk to the people who are running it, and ask them, like, hey, this is my situation. Which one of your animals is a good fit?
Okay, but I do want to ask you here, Robin, when you say senior dogs, I mean, they do need extra time, extra care. So I think, don't you think it would be advisable for people who have time, than people who, are working all the time to take care of senior dogs?
That's just not been my experience with senior dogs, unless like
Okay.
unless they have a medical condition. I've seen, like, like we had the senior dog Fatso, three-legged dog, blind in an eye. uh, for the most part, he just wanted to be left alone. Just wanted his food
Oh,
on time. He would get grumpy otherwise.
okay.
Wanted to make sure like the cushions there in the bed. And when he came to you, he wanted to be pet. So,
Correct. So most
so
often they
that's why
just
I
like to
think.
be left alone. Yeah.
See, that's been my experience. It's been with a few senior dogs. Uh, that's why I'm saying the best person to guide you would be the person running the shelter. They would know every animal's personality that is there up for adoption, and you need to have a detailed conversation with them to see which dog would be a good fit for you.
Super. So it's great that Mr. Dhawan is in touch with the shelter. So, he can get the best for his apartment. So thank you for that once again, Robin. All right, we've got more questions, but quickly asking the second trivia question for the hour. You just have to tell me whether this is true or false. You need a lot of room to foster a pet. Option one, true. Option two, false. I'll repeat that. You need a lot of room to foster a pet. Option one, true. Option two, false. Quickly, make sure you send in your answers. Just comment in the comments section. So, Robin, when someone is planning to adopt a pet, how do they find a good source? Are you there, Robin?
Can
You got
can,
me?
can you repeat that? I lost.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So, when
I
someone is planning,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. When someone is planning to adopt a pet, how do they find a good source?
Um, I mean, if you do not know of a rescue around you, like I said, you can go to peoplefarm.org/HHA, connect to a WhatsApp group that's in your location, and you can very easily find out which all rescues are there. You call the rescues or go to their website and see if they have animals for adoption. Then on Facebook, you would, if you just search for dog adoption India, you'll find a bunch of Facebook groups. So you can scroll through them and see if there's a post in your area, or you can also post in that group that, hey, I'm in, I'm in Pune, this area, and I'm looking for a dog. And a lot of people would reach out to you.
Cool, cool. In fact, I've got Deepthi who's just sent in a message. I was just reading this, and she says COVID reported 50% of pets being abandoned. So I just want your thoughts on that. I mean, be it pets or be it rescues, what happens to that? And I've seen many people who adopt pets as well. After a while, they just abandon them. So would you like to share your thoughts on the same?
See, that's why I said, when your first question was, why should people have animals? Why should they have pets? And my thing was like, look, you got to do that just just to be a responsible human being. If you've been given resources, extend them to those who don't have them. So if you're that kind of a person and you opened your home and heart to an animal with that mindset, you're not abandoning them.
Correct.
Especially for something as stupid, ridiculous, unfounded as that dogs are spreading COVID. You got to be really dumb to believe that.
Yeah,
Especially
that is true.
with all the world's information on your fingertips. If people believe dogs are spreading COVID, I don't know, man. I mean, that's just hopeless.
All right. So we've got Mamta Bhatnagar, who's just sent in a question. She says, I take care of 3 street dogs and looking to adopt another from a shelter. So the street dogs are already possessive and don't let any other dog come near me. So is this going to be a problem once I adopt another dog?
I would say, yeah, yeah, you have to really know, like, like the two dogs we have right now, they are very, very territorial.
Correct.
But the good thing about them is they are tolerant of uh, females. So the stray females in around our farm, they are allowed to come and hang out here in the day, but no other dogs. So you gotta like, yeah, you gotta look at your dog's preferences, personalities. So that's really smart that you're thinking about that.
Okay, so Mamta, then you'll have to reconsider whether to adopt a dog or not. But I also think, Robin, if she's already taking care of so many dogs, one more to the pack shouldn't cause that much of a problem, right? Because they're already stray dogs. So they are survivors, they do fend for themselves. But she being the wonderful person and she wants to adopt, I don't see they could be that much of a problem. Probably she has to feed this little fella or the girl a little away from where she normally does feed the rest of her dogs, right?
Yeah, yeah. Food jealousy is definitely a thing. That's not the only thing. Like I said, like one of our dogs, the rescues that lives here, Spot. He it's just like he is too territorial. We just cannot have a dog at the farm. Again, it would depend on the dog's personality. So you have to see what they deal with. And like I said, like this was maybe the dogs Mamta has, they're not friendly with other dogs. They're too possessive, but maybe they are okay with other female dogs.
Yeah. So female is the is the key word here.
Maybe I don't know. You just have to try. Like Spot's okay with puppies. So you like any animals that are part of your family, you have to treat them like family members. You have to look at, like you have to see if there's gonna be a personality clash. Like if you're bringing your girlfriend to see your mom, you got to think if it's gonna work out. There's gonna be a personality clash.
Okay, that's quite the comparison, but yeah, makes complete sense. Okay, so why do you think people should rather adopt a dog from a rescue organization or shelter rather than pick up a dog from the street?
Uh, See, there is no like it's not like a complete yes. This is always gonna be better. It's gonna be dependent on the situation of the dog. If you see if you see a puppy that doesn't have a mother nearby, is on a busy intersection, I think you should pick that pup up. Now,
Correct.
because like if you leave them there, they are gonna be dead by the morning. The thing is, and this might sound a little cold, when you pick up a dog from a street, you help that one when you adopt a dog from a rescue, you are also opening up a space. So not only you help that one dog, but you have also opened up a space in that rescue which can help numerous other animals one after the other. Because we have had situations where a dog has spent a year here before getting adopted. That's a year of us having to say no to cases that we couldn't take because we didn't have space.
Okay, all right. So Mamta actually responds to your answer about adopting an extra dog, and she says one of the street dogs is female as well, but one of the male is pretty dominant and most possessive. So thank you for the answer. We'll definitely try and consider this. Thank you so much, Mamta, for that. Do you want to respond to Mamta, Robin?
Yeah, like I said, try puppies. Like, Spot, really possessive, doesn't mind females, doesn't mind puppies. So,
All right, awesome. So, how is adopting a rescue dog different from adopting a new pup? Since you said puppies right now, so let's get to that question.
uh, see, puppies are easier to find. Like, from whose perspective? From the perspective of the adopter or from the perspective of the rescue?
I think you should give us both so that we we know
So,
exactly what to expect.
so from the perspective of a rescue, male puppies are easier to find homes for.
Okay,
So if you really wanna do good, try to adopt an adult dog. Like, so, and all and also the only adult dogs that are left in rescues are the ones that would have, they can't make it on street. Like they would have some condition by, like say we rescue a dog, has extremely horrible skin condition, we work on the dog for months and the dog's healed, but that means their immune system is suppressed. That's why they got the skin condition. If they go back on the street, they'll go to the same exact condition, so we can't
correct.
release them. So if you really want to help, adopt an adult rescue dog. Adopt like a three-legged dog. That's even better because they can't fend for themselves on streets. But adopting a puppy is good too. It's not like, you know, it's just like, it's like I said, it's easier for us to find homes for puppies. Now, from your perspective, I think it would depend again on how much time do you have. Puppies are a lot of work. Just like babies. Puppies are a lot of work.
Babies.
They are
Yeah,
gonna go through a stage when they are gonna chew your sandals. They're gonna have to be, uh, you know, potty trained, or they know where to pee.
correct.
So if you are willing to put in that work, then yeah, go for a puppy. But if you want like a, just ready to plug in pet, like, adopt an adult dog from a rescue.
Ready to plug in pet. That's the first time I've heard that, but yeah, that works as well. So we've got a message from Deepthi, and she says, I had a beautiful indie mother of 10 whom she had adopted in 2020. And she's a senior dog between 6 to 7 years. And in 2021, she adopted a golden who had distemper. Now he's okay and 14 months old. But of course, her indie doesn't get along with her 14 months old one. So she had to get her senior adopted. And a neighbor actually adopted. And she was unhappy yet contented that she was near and in good hands, and always thought they could go along together and I could stay with them. Of course, she's not really asking a question, but in fact that could also be a question. When you have an indie and you have a pup, I don't think there should be a lot of difference between behavior, but yes, I would like to hear it from you, Robin, you being the expert. So, say even for people who already have adopted indies and and now they have a new pup, what would you like to say to people who do this, who adopt, and if there are any tips you can give us on handling both?
I'm hardly the expert when it comes to dog behavior. But I'd say this much: don't feed them together. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I'd say. And then I think if you have already raised your dog such that they're not guarding your lap or what, so then you won't run into that many problems. But again,
Correct.
it's and also you have to make proper introduction. There's this guy Zach George on YouTube. He has got excellent dog behavior and dog training videos, and like how to introduce a new dog with your dog. I think that would be he would be a much better guide than any answer I can give.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so we're down to our final trivia question for the evening, and we've got more questions, Robin. So I'm just going to quickly ask this trivia question so that everyone can answer. What is the best way to prevent unwanted animals from being born? Option one, spay or neuter animals in and out of shelters, or option two, prevent contact with other pets. Once again, what is the best way to prevent unwanted animals from being born? Option one, spay or neuter animals in and out of shelters. Option two, prevent contact with other pets. Do comment in the comments section. So, Robin, if one is adopting a stray dog, what should their next steps be towards making a safe home for both the dog and the family?
Oh, first thing is like you got to make sure like you have a perimeter around the house. If you're not living in an apartment, like of course apartments are pretty sealed like mini fortresses. But like if you are living in a bungalow or something, you got to make sure that your dog cannot just run out, because that happens a lot of times, and that's just unfortunate. People's pets run out and get into an accident.
Correct.
Then wherever, make sure they have a comfortable place to sleep in. Sometimes people would just get an animal and the dog would be on the terrace all day, won't even be protected from elements. I'm sure people who are watching this are not those kind of people, but it's just like still worth mentioning that having a safe, comfortable place for them to sleep is as important as it is for us. Then it's you got to make sure what not to feed your dogs, because we love our animals. We are like, if I'm eating chips, I'm going to give Spot a chip. If I'm eating chocolate, I'm going to give Spot a chocolate, and Spot's going to go in a shock. So you got to
Correct.
know you cannot feed chocolates or raisins, onions, garlic, citrus
Garlic.
fruit
Yeah.
to your dogs. You got to know that you cannot give them sugar. Sugar is bad for humans, animals, both, but like it's worse for dogs. You cannot give them sugar. You cannot give them too much salt. Some people, they think like whatever's being cooked at home is okay to give your dogs. That's not so. We eat our food with a lot of spices and salt. No good for dogs.
Correct.
So just like it's a new entity in your house, you got to learn about them.
Awesome. All right. So, can you give us some suggestions to those who are willing to contribute towards the animal welfare cause but are not sure where to start from?
Huh. Before I come to this, there's one more thing I would want to talk about,
Sure.
if we
Sure.
time for that.
We have
So
lots
when
of
you
time.
do get it, we get a dog and we're walking the dog's gonna poop. The the law doesn't require us to pick that poop, but that would be responsible pet ownership that you do. I mean, I know like there's an aversion to picking poop, dog poop, but that would be a responsible thing to do. Carry a newspaper or something, and there are poop scoopers that you don't even have
Yeah.
to touch the poop. They're available on Amazon. You can carry them. That way people don't get mad for you having a dog. So, and make sure you're walking them on leash, not off leash, because you might be comfortable with dogs, but a lot of other people are not. So you're walking a dog without leash, especially if you've got a big breed, people might freak out. Their kid might freak out. So do that. Now, to your next question, how can people start with animal welfare? I'd say start with at least visiting a rescue or shelter in your area once a week. A lot of dogs in rescues are cooped up all the time. They are not getting the interaction they need. So rescues can take care of medical conditions, they can take care of food and shelter, but the dogs also need enrichment. And rescues are usually understaffed, don't have enough resources. So you go there, you spend time with those animals. So you can start there. If volunteering is a big ask, you can start by just feeding dogs around your house.
Correct.
To start there, um, learn first aid. If you have a network, I mean, we are part of different social networks. Like, we have a group at office, we have a friend circle, then we have family. You can try to find homes for dogs, connect with the rescue, see, yeah, okay, this is a dog that, and to pick one dog and say, like, okay, this week I'm going to try to find home for this dog. So that's also something you do. You can also foster. So a lot of times what happens is that we get a dog, the dog's mostly healed, but the last bit of recovery is just taking so long, and for that the dog doesn't need to be here. In fact, having the dog here in that last bit of recovery is stressful for the dog, because the dog's mostly recovered and wants to be out and about, wants to be with a person. So when you foster a dog from a rescue, again, you open up a space in the rescue so they can bring in more animals that they can help. Also, you help in recovery for that animal. And fostering a dog is a great way to see whether you are up for just having one permanently, like adopting one.
Awesome. So you mentioned first aid. I mean, how much of first aid do we need to know? As per if you have to help a dog.
See, your basic wound treatment, and the wound treatment in humans and dogs are not any different. Essentially, any
Okay.
wound treatment is, you are keeping the wound clean. Nature does the healing itself. Then, if a wound is cleaned in time, it won't turn into a maggot wound. But
Okay.
unfortunately, if it does, it would be super helpful if you know how to take care of a maggot wound, because that's what most of the injuries uh, you see you see in the street are. They're like, your regular wounds that turn into maggot wounds, and then there's, it just gets really bad. Of course, for like
I know.
broken bones, you need the vet.
Yeah. So just basic knowledge of first aid is important, especially to administer the first set of doses of medicine, like you said, to clean them and stuff. All right. I've
Yeah,
got many questions
yeah.
right now, all coming up. Yes, tell me.
No, that's it.
Yeah, okay. We've got Mahima Karnal, and she says, "Can we adopt a pet living in a flat?"
Yeah, absolutely. Again,
Yeah.
depending on whom you're adopting from, you just have to make sure you find the right one.
Yeah. I hope that answers Mahima's question. We've got Garima Bakuni, and she says, "Are there any behavior related issues or problems in adopting adult dogs?"
In fact, I would say in adults, it's almost easier, because any behavioral issues, like they don't get along with other dogs, or some dogs, because they've been abused, they might not like men. They're okay with
Right.
women. They just don't like. They're okay with women and kids. They don't like men. So any of such issues, you already know in adult dogs. In puppies, it's a toss up. You don't know what that pup's going to turn into, especially if there's
Yeah.
an issue that's genetic.
Right. Okay. So, Garima, I hope that answers your question. Kavita Dhawan sends a message to you saying, "Very insightful session, sir." So, thank you for that, Kavita.
Thank you, Kavita.
We Yeah, we've got Himanshu Shekawat, and he says, "I have two dogs, one Indie and one Labrador. My lab is 9 years old, so is it a good idea to adopt a pup? Just want to confirm."
I'd say ask your dogs, if they are okay with a pup, yeah, like the more the merrier.
That's true. That's true. And I think 9 years normally, yeah, I mean, he's almost a senior. So they are, yeah, it depends again on their temperament, right? So it could go both ways. They could accept a pup or they wouldn't. But I think, like you had mentioned earlier, Robin, pups make all the difference, especially because they're that small, like babies. So I guess
Hmm.
it's a good way to start a
I,
relationship,
I
even with your
won't make a
female pet.
blanket statement. Like we have had so many dogs, and I know like our we had this resident dog, Chili. He wouldn't tolerate a puppy. He found puppies annoying, so he would eat one if he could, if I wasn't looking.
Oh
Spot, on the
my.
other hand, is like a nanny dog. You see, we don't realize like dogs' personalities just because they're indie dogs. We cannot just say they have all one personality. All labs are not same. It's like they're individuals and their personalities, their preferences, their life experiences entirely different. So can't make a blanket statement.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, we have Ved Prakash, and he says, is there anything like a suitable dog for a household?
A rescue dog, yes. Rescue is the best breed.
Of course, rescue is the best breed. So we do have a contest question that I will give out the answer to in just a bit. But we've got Deepthi who actually wants to ask you a very generic question. What inspires you each day? Of course, I would want to answer that for you, of course, the dogs and rescues. But yeah, please go ahead. What inspires you each day?
See, here's the thing. Sometimes this work does get taxing because it's like it's never ending. I know suffering's not gonna end. Whatever we are doing is minuscule in comparison to what needs to be done.
Right.
So a lot of times I feel like giving up, and then I think like, okay, I will give up. What am I gonna do? I don't find answer to that question. What else is that I'm gonna do that at least does this much good? So not finding that answer just keeps me in check. So I walk this path because अच्छा काम करने के अलावा और है क्या वाली बात हो जाती है. What am I gonna do? Like,
Right. We have Siddharth who says, I have never had a dog before, so does it make a difference if I adopt an indie dog or a specific breed dog?
no, not at all. No, you can go for an indie dog. A lot of people don't realize. In fact, indie dogs are easier because they they've got good immunity. So that's just there from the get go. So they'll just
Right.
uh, it's just like smaller wet bills. कहते हैं ना like वो गरीब का बच्चा अमीर का बच्चा वाली बात है. So when you get a breed dog, you are going to be visiting a vet more. And with breed dogs, what has happened is because of bad breeding, there's a lot of inbreeding, and that has given rise to a lot of these genetic conditions. So you're not gonna have those in indie dogs because of like this like very wide, very diverse gene pool. So I'd say go for an indie dog.
Siddharth, so go for an indie dog. Okay. Jagrati has a question as well. She says, do you think animal communicators are genuine? Should we reach out to them for lost pets and strays?
I haven't had an experience, so I can't speak intelligently about this.
So Jagrati has to get in touch with an animal communicator as well. All right. Okay. So we're just waiting to collate the answers, and we will be announcing the winners in just a bit. So we had a contest that was running on the pages of Purina as well as Pet Fed. So I think Robin has disappeared. He'll be back soon. But the question was, what were animal shelters called in the past? Okay, he's back. Was it A, yard, or B, pound? Of course, the correct answer is the pound. So, congratulations to everybody who sent in the answers. And of course, you walk away with hampers. We'll get in touch with you with all of that. So, in the meanwhile, of course, we need to announce the winners. I'm just waiting for us to just collate them. Robin, do you want to, give us any more tips or suggestions? About adopting that you've left out? if you'd like to, specify any few points for everybody who's actually messaged in today with all kinds of questions, which is great. So thank you so much for that.
See,
Any other points that we
I,
need to keep in mind?
not a suggestion. It's more like, I think, uh, when we adopt a dog, or when we do any breed, of course, there's an inherent benefit to the recipient. So, like when we adopt a dog, it's helping the dog, it's helping the shelter. Also, by participating in this, we are also perpetuating it. So that's also something we need to understand, that there's, like, the simple act of adopting is much more powerful than just giving one dog a home. You are helping encourage a trend that would give home to so many more homeless animals. So all of the people who have adopted a dog, or are considering adopting a dog, I would just want to thank you for promoting this trend. Also, you need to talk more about it. So that's something you need to do. Like, if you have adopted a desi dog, you got to talk about it. Because, like, you see people talking about, like, हमने ये 50,000 का कुत्ता खरीदा है, तो हमने 50,000 का कुत्ता, which is like so silly. But that's there's a lot of noise about that. Like, expensive dog, breed dog. हमने Afghanistan से कुत्ता import किया. No, we so counter that. We need to start talking about desi dogs. कि भाई हम देसी लोग हैं, हमने देसी कुत्ता अडॉप्ट किया. I usually say desi log, desi dog. So I hope that makes sense.
Of course, it does. And thank you so much for that. And quickly, Robin, I'm just going to announce the winners. So just give me a couple of seconds. So, a big thank you to everybody who participated. And our winners from today's trivia contest are Bhavishya Sagar, Jagriti Bhandari, and Deepthi Bedi. Congratulations to all of you. You gave us the right answers. Do DM your complete details to Purina Pro Plan India. And of course, I'm sure you would like to know what the correct answers were. The first one was, who are the main inhabitants of animal shelters? Of course, the right answer is dogs and cats. True or false? You need a lot of room to foster a pet. The correct answer is false. And the final one is, what is the best way to prevent unwanted animals from being born? The correct answer is spay or neuter animals in and out of the shelters. So, congratulations once again to all the winners, and do inbox your details to the Purina Pro Plans Facebook page. So, of course, our time is up, and it's been such a wonderful session. And Robin, big thanks on behalf of PetFed India as well as Purina Pro Plan for giving us this very inspiring, insightful session. And of course, I'm sure it means a lot to people, especially all those who would like to adopt and rescue, animals, all sorts of animals. Of course, you are always there to help us out. And if need be, they can reach out to you. Parting words from you, Robin, before we close the session.
Oh, uh, like I said, you if you are if you can give, you should definitely consider adopting a dog. Like, if you can give space in your heart at home, you should definitely consider adopting a dog. And connect with dog shelters in your area. If you don't know of one, like I said, go to peoplefarm.org/HHA, be part of that community, get information from about shelters in your area, and just connect with one.
Wonderful. Thank you once again on behalf of PetFed India and Purina Pro Plan. And thank you, pet parents who joined us and the ones who participated in the session as well and got your questions answered. And hope we were able to answer all of your questions in some way or the other. And of course, to the ones who missed it, don't worry. These live sessions are going to be a regular affair, and we will be covering different topics each time, of course. Meanwhile, you can watch this entire video on Purina's Facebook page, Purina Pro Plan India. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend ahead. Make sure that you stay safe and mask up. I know it's still rampant around, but that's the best bet. Stay safe. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Robin, as well, for being with us today and taking us forward in this wonderful topic of Dog Adoption 101.
Thanks for the opportunity, Melody. Bye.
Bye.